what's up? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Big ups to all of my subscribers. I so appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all have been such a blessing to my platform, my channel. Again, I thank each and every one of you. Ladies, if you have not subscribed already, I need y'all to go to my other channel and subscribe to Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I've been talking about a couple of different topics up there over that over at that particular channel. You know, most of my content is for women over there, but guys, you're not excluded. But just know you may not really be interested in too much of some of the things I speak over there, so it's mostly predominantly content for women, but you're more than welcome to join in or view, however, or comment. It doesn't matter. But nevertheless, ladies, that is my second channel, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Please subscribe if you didn't already. I am doing a topic about Betty Broderick, the woman who was married to her husband every bit of 15 years, and he left her for a young secretary that he was having an affair with, and basically tormented her, being that he was an attorney. He had a lot of power, had a lot of clout within the particular town they were residing in at that point in time. So anyway, she just went ham, and she basically, you know, she murked the both of them, and it was a true story, and ended up having a very tragic ending. She murked her ex-husband, murked his new-to-be bride he hadn't even been married to for a substantial amount of time, and you know the impact that it had on her children, even though they're grown now. And to this day, she's still in prison, and she has no regrets as to what she did. She said, as a matter of fact, I'll do the shit again, because that's just how scorned she was. But anyway, y'all ladies, y'all, you know, hit me up over Mocha's Ladies Lounge, and we're gonna, you know, chop it up about that. But nevertheless, this is today's recipe, today's topic. This video went viral all over Facebook. Basically, here it is, this young woman who is living in governmental housing and has gone for 3 months not paying her rent. Now, before I get into the story, I had to do still shots. YouTube is so picky. I really cannot do a lot to my videos like I would like. They demonetize everything. It's become less and less harder to become creative, because they just, you know, they demonetize your channel for every little tiny thing. And if you're not you don't have a huge fan base, such as myself, it's kind of hard to get donations. So you depend on the monetization of your videos. But they so freaking picky, y'all. You can't even be creative no more. I mean, you got to damn near just talk through the whole goddamn thing. That's the only way they won't strike you. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, this was pretty disturbing, because for one, when this video went viral, you see, just based, well, y'all can't see, but I can see it. Seeing the video, I can see how unfit the apartment is. You know, you can tell she's not very clean. Not only that, you can tell that this particular housing complex, they don't take the best of care of the residents that are there, because I can tell the carpet is so beyond stained. And I'm like, I know y'all come in there and y'all enter and do housing inspections at least every 6 to 8 months or however. Anyhow, only thing I'll be able to do, well, I'm gonna let y'all hear it first, and then I'm going to commentate on it. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to the audio. Again, I cannot play the video because YouTube is so freaking picky. I would love to play it just so I don't have to inconvenience y'all, but I don't make the rules here. I'm just a tenant. YouTube is the landlord, so guess what? I gotta play by their rules. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this conversation of what took place with her being notified that she was being evicted. And once y'all have heard the audio, I'll jump right back in.
How you doing, sir? It's Jasmine Authority there?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Lee, with Housing Authority. We're here to serve an eviction. I don't know. They said that you people that you had 30-day notice, everything. Hold on, sir. Please, sir. Don't touch him. Sir, no, sir. Listen. Everybody, calm down. Okay, who is the? Okay, are you? Who is this, ma'am?
That's my boyfriend.
Oh, okay. How you doing? I'm Lee with Housing Authority.
I'm good. What's going on?
She is currently late on her rent, 3 months behind.
Late on my rent.
Yeah.
3 months behind.
Yeah, and this is my mover. He's moving things. He's the the one that's my part of my team.
Hold on,
listen, bro.
Hold
Listen.
on,
Can you talk to him? Listen, y'all. Everybody, calm down. Everybody just relax.
Well, we calm.
He is supposed to be moving things.
Well, I ain't getting no letter. I don't know this shit. This ain't that.
Listen, bro. Listen, I need everybody to come. Listen, bro. Calm. You need to relax, bro. Listen, you need to calm down. Listen, bro. He is doing his job. He is doing his job. He is doing his job. Listen,
He didn't tell me.
listen. I got the letter right here. Listen, here's the letter. Here you go.
I ain't never get none of this.
So they said they've been giving you notices for like the past 3 months. You haven't been. You're late. They give you 30 days.
I gave you the rent. I paid the money. What the you talking about? You should have paid this earlier. I did.
Listen, it's free. Listen.
Watch out.
Listen, bro. Hey, sir, we got. Hold on. We have to call authority. We got to call authority.
Take that, boy.
Can you relax? We have to call authority. This stuff has to go. She has a 30-day notice. This is the day. We're serving the eviction. She didn't go to court. She didn't even show up. Sir.
I didn't know nothing about this. That's going on right now. No.
And y'all ain't giving me no letter, bro. Y'all just now showing us.
So we sent it
telling
to.
us.
Sir, can you please?
So what's going on?
Sir, can you calm down?
Tell me what's going on, bro.
Sir,
You
can you
ain't
calm?
telling me, bro. You ain't telling me enough information.
Hey, call.
What you doing, boss? This ain't that, boss.
Listen.
This ain't that, boss.
Listen,
This ain't that.
sir.
This ain't that.
Tommy, relax, bro. Listen, you need to calm down.
Tell this man.
Listen, sir. Do your job. Do your job. Listen, so.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
Bro, move
That rent instead of them flat screens.
move all this stuff up.
I've
fine.
been asleep, man.
It's fine.
Sir.
Look at here, bro. Watch out, bro. I got my.
Well, move too. You need to get out. 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 Whatever you gotta do. Get it.
I'm moving shit right by the door. Wait.
No, it gotta get out this house, sir. It gotta get. You need to go out this house. Everything. So grab. We'll give y'all a couple minutes to grab whatever you gonna get.
Right the now. What's going on?
Do y'all need help with
No,
any
don't
of this?
touch no babies. We got the babies. Don't worry about all that.
Like I said, man, they said you missed court. They said you didn't come. All that. So.
Y'all left a baby right here. It's a baby right here, y'all left. No, that's my son. I know. He good.
So, hey, so you can start. You can move that court. You can start by with that court. They're not taking that. You can take that. Just start moving someone. Sir, do we have to call authorities? We have to get this stuff out because we gotta go. We gotta get all this stuff out. Okay, I conducted my investigation. Jasmine Thornton, everything is good. Get what y'all gotta get. We can move this stuff out. I'm gonna give y'all an hour.
All right, fam. That was the audio of the incident that took place when Housing Authority confronted the tenant and her living boyfriend about her eviction. They actually handed her the papers, and they told her that she did not show up for court. She was a no-show. She didn't appear, and she's also not only having to deal with the fact that she didn't follow court order to appear in court, but she also didn't follow the order as far as making her payments with Housing Authority. She had not been making payments for 3 months. So this just goes to show this is nothing new under the sun. Anybody who's ever lived in housing, if you haven't lived in housing, you may know people, you may know of people who live in housing. You may have family members, girlfriends, or whatever. This is nothing new. There's been numerous welfare or housing recipients who receive governmental assistance with housing, like they do with food stamps and with WIC and other governmental assistance programs. And unfortunately, even when these ladies are given a break, some of these women just don't do right. Not even when it comes to government assistance. Some of them, they rent may be $20. Some of them, they rent may be $60. Some of them, they rent may just be $100. Some cases, if you're going to college the way it used to be, because I was temporarily staying in the house for like a year until me and my husband got our own home together. So I didn't have to pay zero rent as long as I was in college and I was providing proof that I was going full time, not only half the time or when the hell I felt like it, and dropping out and then going back. You had to show, you had to every so many months when you were certified to keep your house, and you have to keep proving that you are still a full-time student going to school in order to be eligible for free rent for housing. But I knew, even being on public assistance, even though I use it as a stepping stone, I didn't use it as a crutch. It was not a place in which I wanted to live for the rest of my life. I didn't want to raise my child there. I didn't want my child raising her children there, so my grandchildren would be raised there. I feel like low income housing, if you have to use it, if you have to utilize it, it should be used as a stepping stone. I don't think you should make it a crutch and live there permanently for various reasons. But nevertheless, going into the situation, this woman did not go to court and she did not pay her rent for 3 months. Now, the live-in boyfriend, I guess, because there used to be a point in time where only women were allowed to, live in low-income housing, governmental housing. Now, I do think low-income and governmental is different. I think with low-income housing, both men and women can live there. You just both got to prove that y'all make a low income. And governmental assistance is specifically for single mothers. So I think that's where it varies at. But nevertheless, the guy was surprised. He was like a deer in the headlights. He could not understand what y'all mean we getting evicted. Now, keep in mind, while housing authority is there, housing authority has an assistant that's there to actually help to physically remove the items out of the apartment. So while the housing authority is explaining to them the reason of the eviction and the fact that she didn't show up in court and the fact that she didn't pay for 3 months, the guy that was there, I guess the mover that was there, he was, while the housing authority was talking to the couple, he was looking around, seeing what he can take. And he saw like a box or two. So he started trying to move boxes and move things out of the home while housing authority was explaining to them the purpose of the eviction. So at this point in time, you can only imagine emotions are running high. The live-in boyfriend is pissed off with housing authority. Okay? You can tell the way he's going off. This ain't that. This ain't that. No, you're not going to come up here and touch my stuff and this and that or whatever. He's angry because he's not understanding why they have to move and why they're being served eviction papers when he was giving her the money to pay the rent. Of course, she tried to play crazy. I'm going to just call her Bukisha. Okay? Bukisha, because she looked like a Bukisha. Okay? With the blonde wig and, look like she probably, maybe size 19, 20 in a dress, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, Bukisha is sitting up there playing crazy, and she's looking through the eviction papers like she don't know why. Like she can't understand. And the unfortunate part about low-income housing or governmental assistance is that they take in tenants that are very uneducated, that don't understand the basics of renting and the basics of housing. A lot of these women will run down there, stand in a line, you know, like it's a Chris Brown concert, just to get these vouchers, just to apply for low income housing, and not really have a single idea of what their role is as a tenant. The only thing they think is that they're just supposed to live there and, you know, buy some renter center furniture, get some flat screens, and basically call it a day. A lot of them don't understand the severity of what happens, the consequences when you don't pay your rent, especially when you go for months. They don't understand there's a time frame. You'll be surprised. A lot of these females that are eligible for housing, they do not understand their responsibilities. You know, things that grown people who are used to being responsible, that are used to paying bills. We know rent is due on the first of the month. We know water bill, light bill. People who are used to taking care of themselves, who always have to work to provide for themselves, they know the importance and the significance of prioritizing and paying your rent, paying your utilities, paying for your transportation, car insurance, things of that nature. A lot of these women are so these low common denominator females will go run and apply for all this stuff and don't understand that even though the government has no problem supplying these things to you, but they will drop your ass like a bad habit the moment you falter in anything. Because trust and believe, there's a misconception that a lot of these women can just get housing and get it for free and they live the best life. But what a lot of people don't understand is, yes, a lot of these women can get housing. And in many cases, they get it free. In many cases, they rent only $25, $30 a month. However, if you don't have the mindset and you're not woman enough to handle your business and handle your responsibilities, it don't matter if somebody gives you something for free. Eventually, you're going to sabotage it. You're going to mess it up. You're going to do something stupid even quicker because it's free. Because when you got to work hard for something and you got to pay for it in the raw, no condom, nobody's lent you anything, nobody's allowing you to stay there for free, you're way more careful with how you move because you put all of your money into it and you don't have that extra cushion or support in the event that you fuck up. This is the thing about government assistance. This is the thing about governmental housing. Again, yes, a lot of these females do get over because they paying for rent that's dirt cheap. In some cases, like I said, some of them don't pay rent at all. So they do get over as far as being able to be eligible to get the housing. The problem is, again, a lot of them are ignorant and uneducated. And what good is benefits? What good is governmental assistance? What good is any favors or any type of help when you don't know, you don't have the education, you don't have the tenacity, you don't have the maturity to be able to take care of your bills so that you're not losing the free assistance, the governmental assistance, the housing assistance that you're getting. And this is the reason why, if any of you, if you ever roll through the hood, and you ride past an area or you're going in an area of governmental housing projects, subsidizing housing, whatever they call it, and if you pay attention, you notice that a lot of the units are boarded up. The windows are boarded up. And whenever you see a boarded up apartment within a unit, and in many cases you're going to see like maybe 30 to 40 of them are boarded up in a 100 unit complex. Okay, this 9 times out of 10, someone done got evicted for doing something dumb. Somebody done got put out for doing something dumb. They get put out, get evicted, and what happens is the maintenance crew within the housing development facility, they have to board up those houses immediately after eviction has taken place because they don't want bums, crackheads, or whatever residing in the premises until, and not only that, they got to redo the carpets, redo all the previous damage that was done from the last tenants before the apartment is ready for a new family or a new couple. So basically, This woman here, evidently, she did not have her shit together. Bottom line, there's no making no excuses. We can't even sugarcoat it. This woman was not paying her rent. Housing authority cannot just come up to you and put you out. There's a protocol. There's a procedure. There's a process that has to occur in order for eviction to be effective. Other words, they can't just put you out because they don't like you. They can't just put you out because you're black. It's rules that have to be broken. Either you broke a rule, you violated, something happened in which they got proof, which means you can't even go to court and fight it and say you're not at fault. Trust and believe 9 times out of 10 when it comes to any governmental assistance, they're going to wait till things build for a long time. Then once things have built for a long time, once they done seen you run game, you done made several violations, now they done built up a book against you in which they can take to court to get you evicted, and they not going to have a problem with the judge signing off because they're going to have so much things that you have done out of order within violation of the governmental housing facilities. And once the government has obtained information that you are not following the rules and you have violated multiple times, and not even so much just violations, and I can go into violations later, meaning, well, to give y'all an idea, as if, like, for instance, your kids are vandalizing property. What's up, everybody? Southern Chick Creation makes customized tumblers and t-shirts for special occasions. Tumblers can be made with your favorite NFL sports team, high school sports teams, other sports, whether soccer, golf, fishing, wrestling, etc. Law enforcement personnel, baby showers, bridal showers, Father's Day, Mother's Day gifts, wedding anniversaries, cancer awareness, private organizations, commercial and private owned businesses. Tumblers can be made with your favorite artists, cartoon characters, memorial tumblers for loved ones that have passed away, and endless events and occasions. Southern Chick Creations creates their own special images so that no one will have a tumbler exactly like the ones you ordered. Tumbler prices are $20 and up, plus shipping fees, which can vary from $8 to $13. Tumblers come with plastic straws, but stainless straws are an additional $2 per tumbler. Orders are accepted via email and text messaging, so orders are placed on file. Payments are accepted via PayPal, Cash App, and Zelle. Payments must be received before tumblers are officially made. Customers will receive a display of tumblers before they actually have to purchase to get a visual of tumbler before payment. This is to ensure a customer of the replica image of the tumbler. I also make tumblers for gifts and gags, and specialized tumblers such as my Coach bag or Michael Kors tumblers are tumblers with whipped toppings or added accessories of $35 and up. If you have a special person you would like to get a gift, or you just simply want a tumbler for yourself, email your order at cafedeparis79@yahoo.com. That's CAFEDEPARIS79@yahoo.com. Also, tumblers are made of great quality, preserving cold drinks with ice for up to 8 hours and hot drinks for up to 6 hours, so they are great for traveling. Support Southern Chick Creations and make your purchase today. Style with Southern hospitality. They're spray painting on the wall, things of that nature. That's a violation. Or you scrapping and fighting, physically fighting one of your neighbors, or your kids are a nuisance in the neighborhood. They're going around stealing out of people's cars and stuff like that. Or you was dumb enough to let your live-in boyfriend who sells drugs, somebody blew the whistle and snitched on them, so you done lost your house because of that. So those are different type of violations. In this case, it wasn't so much a violation, but it was the fact that she did not follow the guidelines, which one of the guidelines that they definitely require as a housing recipient, meaning you are living off of governmental assistance by living in their in the low income facility or project area, whatever you call it, subsidizing housing, whatever. That's one of the main requirements. You have to pay your rent. Not only that, they tell you have to keep up with utilities. If the landlord of that housing development area finds out you are living in the dark, your kids are living in the dark. I mean, get it. We struggle. Things happen. But if they find out you ain't been paying your light bill and your light's been out for like a week and you have no incentive on paying it, they can report it and start the eviction process, because when you're in housing, they are not going to tolerate you being lazy and not keeping up with your utilities. Because the way they look at it, we already giving you a break. You ain't paying that much for rent, so you should be able to pay for your utilities. So, anyway, she went for 3 months not paying. The guy was very upset because evidently he was giving her the money. And him and her almost ended up getting into it. Because he says to her, I've been giving you the money. What's going on? He's like a deer in the headlights. And that's very frustrating when you're living with somebody. And you know what? I've heard several guys go through this. Living with another female, only to find out they're getting evicted and put out. And he's like a deer in the headlights because he's like, I've been giving her rent money. Only to find out she ain't been paying no goddamn rent. It happens all the time. Again, governmental assistance is not good. Free stuff is not of help to people who are sorry, irresponsible, trifling, and just don't prioritize and handle their business. So he's angry with her. And of course, she's sitting up there. She's playing crazy. She's acting dumbfounded, like she don't understand why she's evicted. And the housing authority man told her living boyfriend, we haven't received payment for 3 months. So of course she tries to rebuttal it. She tries to play crazy, going back and forth with the housing authority. And at this point, she sees she's not going to win. Now, what I do respect is that the housing authority, they kept their composure. Because had they got as turned up and ghetto as the living boyfriend was trying to turn up, she wasn't turning up as much, but he was definitely turning up. That's how I know he had been giving her money for the rent. That's why he was so angry. But his anger went towards the wrong people. The living boyfriend, Pookie, he upset with the housing authority, and the mover who came to assist housing authority, he's snapping at them, going off on them like it's their fault when it's Bukisha, his woman, who wasn't paying her rent. So it finally dawns on him that after going back and forth with the housing authority and the mover, it's her fault they in that situation. So he starts arguing back at her. So eventually she realized the playing dumb wasn't going to get her nowhere. The playing dumb wasn't going to get her anywhere. So she ended up pretty much confessing. Not really confessing, but she fell back from arguing and debating with the housing authority people about leaving. She finally starts to comply and say, okay, we'll go, we'll get our things, we'll go. Because at this point, she already know she is dead wrong. All of this is her fault. And the crazy part is, the living boyfriend, he should have been going off on her more than housing authority, because she did not take the money that he was giving her to pay the rent. But at this point in time, she realizes the cat is out the bag. She can't lie about it. She can't deny it. So she complies. And even with that, she still doesn't take accountability and say, well, yeah, I did get, court documents, but I threw them in the trash. I ignored them. Or yes, you're right. I never showed up to court, even though I was sent numerous notifications. Again, you get a lot of these females that will apply for all this governmental assistance. But and if you think about it, a lot of them end up losing their benefits. I've known numerous of governmental assistance recipients who have lost housing, who have lost food stamps, who have lost WIC vouchers. They lose a lot of shit because they don't have what it takes to hold it down. They don't have what it takes to be responsible. That way, they could continue receiving those benefits until they could better themselves. There's been females that's been evicted over $10 rent. There's been governmental assistance recipients that have lost their housing because a living boyfriend got mad and pissed off because she put him out, and he called housing authority and snitched on her. There's been females who have lost governmental assistance because they fighting and scrapping it out, and having hood fights with other females in the same housing facility. It's been grown women scrapping it out, duking it out, and people got camera phones on everything now. They upload it, record them, live stream them, following them to another female house that lives in the same housing complex. I'ma beat her ass, this, and that. All of this, hood festivities that are going on in these project housing developments, only for it to get back to the landlord or the person that's operating over that housing complex area. They get the information and they start an eviction process and put them out. Another thing is getting in physical fights and carrying on. You will definitely lose housing. You will lose your benefits for that. Once you catch a charge for aggravated assault or for battery or any type of domestic violence charge, it gets back to housing, they're going to evict you because even though, again, government assistance gives these females, a ticket pass as far as them being able to live much cheaper compared to everybody else who has to pay rent raw with no government assistance. At the same time, housing is very strict, which brings me to my next case in point. Housing is very strict. A lot of these young women are uneducated and they have their little hood friends. They have their little hood rats that'll put them on. Girl, all you got to do is fill out an application at such and such housing development. They put you on a waiting list. When your name comes up, you can move out your mama house and your rent only $30 a month, $4 a month. See, it sounds gravy. It sounds like gravy on a steak. What would not be considered a good deal? You living in a decent 3-bedroom apartment and you only paying $200 a month compared to everybody out here nowadays, especially paying $1,200, $1,500. They're going off your income. So if you're only making $8 an hour or whatever, they're not going to charge you a lot for rent. Or you may be luckier and get what's called a Section 8 voucher, which means when they get that's a voucher in which they give the recipient money, not particularly in a hand, but they give it to the landlord or the apartment complex. They give it to the person that is receiving payment from the tenant. So let's say if the rent at that particular complex is $800, you may get a $700 voucher from government assistance, and you're only responsible to have to pay the other $100. So basically, a lot of these young women are misinformed. They're not really educated on what the hell they're signing up for, because housing is very, very strict. I've seen women go through years of getting on the waiting list to finally get approved, where they and their children have a decent place to stay. They're not having to live with family members, burning other people out, having to stay with family, having to stay with friends. Once their name comes up in the waiting list, they get a notification from housing authority. It's been approved. Within 30 days, we'll have your apartment ready, blah, blah, blah. They go through all of that, almost a year or two of waiting to finally get approved, to only live there within 3 months to 6 months, and some make it to a year, and lose it all behind foolishness, because a lot of them don't understand. And this is to put y'all on game for those of y'all who think that a lot of these females, these recipients, have it easy and they getting over because y'all paying $1,200 a month raw. Well, I know it's more than that now. Y'all paying $1,400 raw while they get away with paying on $200. This is the thing about it. Housing has so many rules. You better off almost it's damn near like you're staying with your parents. Now, I would never tell somebody, yeah, you need to stay with your parents instead of staying in a housing. I feel like a home is a home, okay? It's a place you can call your own, where you can come home in peace and lay down, and it's just you and your kids and your husband, and you ain't got family members and all this and that all over you, hawking you when you gonna leave, blah, 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 whatever. A home is a home. I'll never knock anybody. I could lose my house today, and I pray God keeps my house, because our house paid off. It's paid for. We just pay our taxes once a year. But we know things happen, and we got to be in reality of that. But I did live in housing one time, so I'm not knocking anybody who's currently there or who has applied there. But what I'm saying is that I've seen a lot of people lose housing because housing is very strict. Unlike paying raw rent, when you pay raw rent and it's not governmental assistance, there's nobody keeping up with your every move. If you get in a fight or you get in certain situations, you're not going to lose your apartment. If you're paying rent raw, straight up, no governmental assistance, they don't keep up. They could care less about your personal life. They ain't asking you to recertify and verify your income every 6 to 8 months or whatever. You pretty much have more independence when you're not dependent on governmental assistance, because there's no one regulating what you can and can't do as a tenant. Now, keep in mind, there's rules and regulations everywhere. Of course, even without governmental assistance, as a tenant, you cannot just have 8, 9 people in the apartment when they're not on the lease, especially as they're staying longer than what a guest is supposed to. Of course, there's rules in every complex, every apartment. That's just the way it is. But unfortunately, when it comes to governmental housing, they have a lot of authority. That's why that's the trick in housing authority. They have a lot of authority. Anything you do, any small violation, they can really make it hard for you by evicting you, and also putting that stain on your record every time the government puts in your social security number. They're going to see that you lost your housing, and they're going to know why you lost your housing. So even though it is free or it is cheap, there's a catch-22 that comes along with being a welfare recipient, especially when it comes to living in housing. For one, you have to report your income every 6 months to a year. You got to report your income, because they know that the longer you stay there, things are going to change. And if your income goes up, so does your rent. Or in some instances, if your income changes and goes down, your rent will go down. They'll adjust it, to your current situation. But the problem is they're not going to do it for a long time. So a lot of these females are finding out the hard way that they think they can live in governmental housing. And if I lose my job, my rent is just zero. Well, it'll be zero for a couple of months, but eventually they're going to give you a time frame, because nothing is free. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as free lunch. They'll let you go not paying your rent for probably a month or two, but after a while, they gonna start sending you letters, and you got to reply within 30 days, 90 days. Let me tell you something. A lot of these females are so dumb, so uneducated. They don't take housing, anything having to do with the government, they don't take it serious. They ignore notices. They ignore court appearances. They ignore evictions when, for instance, when they're told, like in this case with this woman, you got 3 months, they will sit there the whole 3 months, won't look for another place, won't look for another apartment. They will not prepare for an eviction, because a lot of them are too uneducated and believing that an eviction can even happen. I've heard a young female one time say she didn't know that you had to pay a deposit to get an apartment. It's a lot of females that are welfare recipients, dependent on government assistance, and they have no clue how serious what the government expects out of them. They think the government just gonna give them things, not give them no rules, not give them no restrictions, not gonna give them no time frame on how to do certain things accordingly. They just really think they can live and lamp off of government assistance and chill and kick back, and they don't think they have a responsibility. They don't think they have a role in contributing. They just think everything is going to be handed to them. A lot of these young women are not educated. People are not telling them, or even if people are telling them, they don't take it serious. Because believe it or not, the system has given a lot of these females a sense of entitlement. Like, y'all supposed to give this to me. Y'all supposed to help me. And yes, I will kid you not, the government is going to look out for these single mothers, guys and ladies. The government is going to always look out for single mothers, regardless if they trifling. And we know all single mothers are not trifling. You got some who stay in housing, can't stand it. They're not trying to make it their final destination. They stay saving money, stacking up bread, because within a couple of years, they want a house of their own. They don't want to live in the projects around other messy bitches and other undisciplined children. So they know the environment. They know it's ain't healthy. They stacking up their bread and they got a plan B. So big ups to all the single mothers who do have a plan B. But let's just be frank. Most of them don't have a goddamn plan B. Nevertheless, housing is very strict and stern. It keeps up with your income. It keeps up with anything, any violations that you commit outside of housing can also jeopardize you from being able to reside there. You can get in a fight with somebody at the club one night. You could get in a fight with somebody at the grocery store. Any little criminal charge or violation as a welfare recipient, once they run your social security number, if it's reported to them, somebody blows you to the whistle, or housing themselves may call, or authorities may call housing authority themselves and let them know, hey, this is a recipient of yours that's actually residing at one of your facilities. This is somebody who resides in one of your complexes. You could lose everything. You back to the streets, back to shelters, back to living off a family, whatever you was doing before you got approved for housing. Housing is very strict. It does not tolerate drugs. If you're caught selling drugs, if you're a man, you got a dope boy, who don't want to work. He wants to sell drugs and you got him living with you. Plenty of females have lost their housing off of letting, no good niggas, live with them. If you have undisciplined, unruly children, I think I mentioned this before. You have children that are neighborhood terrorists. They're terrorizing other people's children. They're vandalizing property. And then you get housing inspections, I think, every 6 months to a year. They come into the apartment, they do a tour, an inspection. An inspection is basically when they tour your apartment and make sure there's no damage, there's no vandalism, or you don't have other people living there that you didn't report. Women back in the days who did this, if you watch the movie Claudine, used to have to hide every goddamn thing, because if they see you with certain things and you didn't report it, you can lose your housing. They got a little laxed on that, but at the same time, there's still some things that they will not tolerate. If you have a living boyfriend, stay in there. And they're inspecting your apartment and see you got a bunch of men clothes and you don't have a son, or all the clothes are size 40 in pants and your son is only 2 years old. As far as they're concerned, he lives with you. Now, of course, they got to really prove it, or whatever. But if he really does live with you, now you got to watch your ass, because they're going to watch you like a hawk. Or you may have that one jealous ass female across the street who don't have a man and mad that every night your man is coming home to you and she may report it. You'll just be surprised. A lot of things come with staying and living in governmental assistance. Not only that, most of these areas are poverty stricken, got high crime rates, because unfortunately, the majority who live there are single mothers. There's no fathers in the household. So if you have a lot of single mothers with teenage sons and the single moms cannot afford to buy them the best of everything, or at one point in time she did, and now because her finances changed, she can't. You have these young men now that are out here robbing, they out here stealing. They're joining other gangs if they don't have a father figure, or they don't get along with the mother who's raising them. A lot of these areas are very are targeted to crime. This is a high target for crime rates to increase because you have a lot of undisciplined males and females, but predominantly males, that are involved. I'm tongue tied today, y'all. Involved in gang related activities. Okay, they're selling drugs as well. They're stealing. They're robbing. They're getting into fights with ops, as they would say, rivals. In that same community and that same neighborhood, or either their ops are coming from the west side or other poverty, high crime stricken areas, and they're settling their beefs and the housing projects where they're coming through there shooting and fighting and things of that nature. So anyway, um, nothing's free. As I stated, nothing's free. There's other prices that you're going to pay. One of the prices is, like I stated, living in an environment in which you cannot even allow your children to be children because there's so much that's going on and transpiring. When I stayed there, my daughter was only like 2, 3 years old, I think, and I didn't allow her to go outside and play with the kids around there, because I knew a lot of those kids out there, they had mamas that was hood rats, and if one of their kids hit my child or did something to my child or whatever, I know I would go ham. So to avoid all of that, I pretty much kept to myself. I didn't get in the mix. I didn't become friends with nobody out there. That's how a lot of drama starts. You have all these females that call themselves trying to be friends, and as soon as one falls out with the other, you know how that goes. They exploit each other. They tell each other's business. If they know too much, they'll report it to housing, cause you to get an eviction. So yeah, it's just it can be very chaotic depending on how you live and how the hell you carry yourself. But nevertheless, circling back, you turn into the situation. This woman wasn't paying her rent. And like I said, a lot of them, they do not follow the rules. They think they're going to get in free. They can just sit there and chill and have their little dope boyfriend, live off of them. And they think that a lot of what they're doing is not going to catch up with them. And um, housing is a blessing for those who use it the right way. They use it as a stepping stone until they get in a better position. But I don't recommend housing for as a place, a permanent residence. I don't recommend anybody use it as a place to live for the rest of your life. I don't think you want to raise your children there, and you don't want your children's children to be raised there, your grandchildren. I don't I don't think it's a good environment for that purpose, but I do believe it serves a purpose as far as keeping you off the streets. But the problem is a lot of them get there and they want to stay there. And the dangerous part about it, and that's what a lot of these females are finding out, once you become a housing recipient, the government changes the rules so many times. These females don't be catching the breaks like y'all think they do. Housing changes rules all the time. All the time. It's almost like having a controlling husband. You can't do this, you can't do that. You can't have people staying here past 2 weeks. Used to be one point in time, if you had 2 boys and 1 girl, they would give you 3 bedrooms. That boy would have a room to himself and the 2 girls would have to share a room. They don't tighten up on all that now. Now it's gotten to the point where the government is getting hip to it and they're figuring out we're making it way too comfortable. So what we got to start doing is just giving them just enough to survive, but not enough for them to be complacent. So now, if you got 5 rooms, you still gonna have 2 bedrooms. Meaning you have a room by yourself and one more room for all 5 of your kids to share. And it don't matter if they're different ages and stuff like that. They done tightened up on a lot. Now they tightening up on increasing income, increasing the rent. They're tightening up on doing more housing inspections. They got all type of rights to come to your house unannounced without telling you. They can knock on your door 2, 3 in the morning if they figure you doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Then there's a lot of eyes around you. You got low-key haters who see you doing a minute better than them. That's very risky too. I know some females who live in housing got nice cars. They live in a house with other females who don't have nice cars. So what all does it take for a hating ass female who ain't got shit and seeing you got a nice car, even though y'all both in the same situation, but you trying to better yourself, and because she can't or she won't, she hating on what you do. You know, it can't. That's just a curse that a lot of us have as black people. We can't all live in the same environment and one do better than the other. It's going to be some animosity. It's going to be some jealousy. It's going to happen. Definitely. But the biggest concern is, like I said, it's a lot of crime, a lot of shootings. Know how many children have been killed in the crossfire in low-income housing areas, in the projects? It's sad. It's just known as a place that's prone to crime. But that's besides the point. I know I've been digressing and going different other areas. But this woman here now, her living boyfriend, looks like they have 2 children, and both of the kids they got don't even like, neither one of them are old enough to go to pre-K or Head Start. Both of them are in Pampers, sucking on bottles. So they got these 2 little children here, and that should have been even more the reason she should have not fell behind on her rent, knowing she got kids, because now her and her kids are going to have to become a burden to somebody else. Either they're going to be a burden to his family, they might have to stay with his mama, or they may be a burden to her family or her sister. 9 times out of 10, when people like this get put out, they got to go stay with somebody. Depending on how many bridges they burnt, they may not be able to stay with anyone. Because you have a lot of them too. A lot of them are living in housing because they done burnt a lot of bridges out here with family. So they had to apply for housing because family not going to deal with them. Family not going to take them in because family then got burnt too many times. So they got to apply for housing. So hopefully they didn't burn any bridges, because the bad part is once you've been evicted, you catch hell reapplying for housing. And in most cases, they're going to put her on a probation for like a year or 2 in which she will not be able to apply at all. And 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. Housing is easy to get, but it is very hard to keep. Housing, they wait for these females to mess up, do something dumb, so they could snatch all the benefits from them. And trust and believe, in some cases, one benefit causes you to lose other benefits. If you're getting food stamps and housing, and they catch you in a major violation, they may even report it to SNAP, which is the EPT program, in which you can't get your stamps either. Now you can't be going for 3 months not paying rent. Whenever, even people who are not in housing or depend on governmental assistance, whenever you see people getting evicted and their furniture is literally getting put in the street by the sheriff department, they had ample amount of time to get their behinds up out of there. They would sit notice after notice after notice, because one thing about most cases, these landlords, they don't want to get sued. They don't want to take the chance of losing anything because they didn't follow proper protocol. So what they do is they send you notice after notice after notice. Every notice they send you, they have a copy. And believe it or not, courts is keeping copies. And once you have not responded, they go back to the courts and say, I've sent 3 notices for every month and she hasn't responded. The courts, probate court or whatever, or superior court, is going to look and see all the notices that have been sent out, and the fact that you didn't respond to any of them, they're going to grant their approval to start the eviction process. And that's what happens. And for those that are uneducated, or they really think they can fuck off not paying their rent and nothing ain't gonna happen, you got some people that's like this, especially people that's uneducated and irresponsible. They gonna ride the wheels. They gonna ride the wheels till the axles break. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, they ain't gonna do nothing. I'm riding. You got people like me who know what can happen, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to hurry up and dig myself out that hole. I'm gonna be making payment arrangements. I'm gonna give them a date on when I'm gonna have all the money, if I'm granted that opportunity, I'm not gonna wait till 3. I'm not gonna sit and chill like I didn't get no notice for 3 months because I know what's coming. But I notice it's a lot of these young folks that are getting caught up. Those that are under the age of 30. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some old ignorant fools too. Age doesn't has nothing to do with ignorance. You could be old and ignorant or young and ignorant. But it happens more with the younger people because they don't take it serious. They don't read when they're applying for housing. They don't read the fine print. If you 3 months behind, we have the right to evict you within 24 hours. Evidently, this Bokisha did not give a damn. She couldn't have gave a damn. And you could tell her character, her character as a woman stands out just based off how her household looks. You can learn a lot about a woman based on how she keeps her house, how she carries her house. Raggedy curtains. I mean, the apartment, like, to me, I get it. Everybody can't afford the best of everything. I don't care if you live in a raggedy house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody can't afford to fix up their stuff and get their walls redid, get their floors redid. It's very expensive remodeling a house. I know because I'm going through that right now. I'm actually trying to remodel my bathroom, and the sinks are expensive, the tiles are expensive, the materials have gone up tremendously at homes in Home Depot and Lowe's. It's very expensive unless you know somebody with a deal who can look out for you and stuff like that. But it's a lot, you know. It's definitely a lot, but it doesn't mean just because your house is raggedy, it don't have to be filthy. People could tell the difference. Based off the video that I saw, she wasn't a woman who handled her business. You could just tell the way her apartment looks. The raggedy curtains. It come a point in time, ladies, when your curtains are so stained, they so damn dusty. Or they raggedy because you got kids, toddlers running around and you don't discipline them. They done tore up your blinds. You can tell when you're in a woman's house. If her blinds are torn up, I ain't talking about no 1 or 2 of the blinds on the blinds. The whole blinds is torn up. That lets you know what type of woman she is. She's not attentive to her household. She's not attentive to her responsibilities. You have women who don't even wash the curtains to their windows. I at least wash the curtains to my windows, I ain't gonna lie, probably twice a year. Sometimes I only did it once a year. I ain't gonna sit here and lie like I do it every 6 months because I don't. But you got some women, you got white curtains and they done turn gray. That's how long you went not washing them. You won't replace those raggedy ass blinds that your badass 2-year-old and 3-year-old don't toe up. You won't replace the blinds. You know they tearing up the blinds, get regular curtains or stop popping their damn hands so they'll learn to stop tearing up your shit when you trying to make your apartment look decent. The carpet was stained and nasty. You mean to tell me you couldn't invest in one of those vacuums that shampoo vacuum? Now, if you got all hardwood floors, then you good. But if you got a lot of carpet, you have to invest in a vacuum that comes that where you could I forgot what the hell they call them, but it actually shampoos the carpet and it sucks up all the dirt. Or pay somebody once a year to come in and wash your carpet. Her carpet was filthy. Things were all over the place. And honestly, even she looked at raggedy. I mean, well, I would say that she was on her own house. She wasn't going nowhere. Hell, I don't look my best right now. My hair's standing on my head and stuff because I'm home. But I'm not going to go in the streets like a regular. So I won't get on her looks too bad because she was in her house like that. However, yet, y'all got flat screens, but you 3 months behind. You better believe a lot of people that's behind on their rent, they got the biggest widescreens. They have the 72-inch, 65-inch. Your screen, your flat screen, costs more than your rent, but your rent behind, but you got a brand new flat screen. These are the same ones when they was getting their stimulus check. They didn't catch up on their rent when they fell behind, but they did get a bigger flat screen TV. They did go out to all the buffets. They did go out to get all the seafood. They went out to do all of that. But you better believe they ain't paid that rent. They ain't paying them utilities. I hate to say it, but some of us, our priorities are just not in line. Black folks, our priorities aren't in line. She knew she wasn't paying that rent and tried to play crazy, looking at the eviction papers like she didn't understand. And honestly, she probably really didn't understand. A lot of these women, they need to educate them before they make them eligible for applying for housing. They need to make them understand rent. They need to make them understand what's going to happen. But honestly, I knowing housing, they've already broken everything down. They've given these women packets for them to read the rules and the regulations. A lot of them don't give a damn. Really, you can't tell any of these helpers out here. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell these welfare recipient broads. You can't tell them anything. And these are the main ones who get defiant and want to fight. As soon as somebody approaches them and tells them, hey, we're going to have to evict you, they want to fight. But you ain't been keeping up with nothing. You ain't read any of the policies, none of the procedures. You'll be surprised how many of these women will get a packet from Housing Authority, breaking down all the rules from A to Z, and they will still get evicted. And when the Housing Authority confronts them about a violation, they looking crazy like they don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. How I'm supposed to know I'm going to get evicted after 3 months? You'll be surprised. A lot of these females don't know a damn thing about having an apartment, about being a tenant. Other than that, I'm supposed to live here and put in flat screen TVs and get a sectional sofa from Rent-A-Center and get them a fake address. So when I renege on not making my payments with Rent-A-Center, then, you know, I ain't got to worry about them locating me and repossessing the furniture. It's just crazy. I didn't see no beds in there. I'm like, where are the kids sleeping? I didn't see no cribs, no beds. You'll be surprised. Living in housing, paying $20 rent, and how you gonna give your kids a bedtime when they don't even have a bed? I know the kids don't have a bedtime because for one, they got to have a bed in order for them to have a bedtime. This is just bananas to me, y'all. But guess what? This is nothing new. This happens all the time. But again, I thought it was imperative that I shared this video because there are a lot of young women who don't understand that if you decide to become a welfare recipient, meaning you're accepting the benefits of food stamps, of WIC, and housing, and you think they just gonna give you all that for free, and it's not gonna come with no rules, it's not gonna come with no restrictions or regulations, you sadly setting yourself up for disaster. You're going to be back out in the streets. You're going to be back off of burdening other folks, having to live with other folks, having to live with family members. You and your undisciplined badass kids gonna have to stay with somebody or either live in a shelter. It's a mess, and it's two innocent children that have no say so. They don't even have no tools of having to take care of themselves because that's what the parents are supposed to do. It's two babies that's going to have to go from place to place. They're going to feel the wrath of being unstable based on their parents. And in this case, it's not even so much the guy's fault. It's her fault because he was giving her the money. She wasn't paying it for 3 months and was shocked when Housing Authority came and approached her and knocked on the door with the paperwork. You'll be surprised. A lot of them don't even know what eviction is. They don't know what they can do wrong to cause to get an eviction. A lot of these females don't care. They just apply for the benefits. Once they get that call, they can move in. They move in. They don't ask no questions. When if I'm late on my rent, do I get a grace period? When if I lose my job, because we're still dealing with COVID, what's going to happen to me and my family? They don't ask no questions. They don't read the rules. They don't read the fine print. They don't take nothing serious when they're getting documents mailed to their household to go to court. A lot of these broads, you can't tell them nothing. They biggity. They got nasty attitudes. Then they have this, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. You can't do what the hell you want to do, especially when it comes to governmental assistance. The government is assisting you. You don't assist the government. So therefore, because the government is assisting you, they're going to give you rules. They're going to give you regulations. And the moment you violate any of those guidelines, they will evict you and you will catch hell trying to get another place for you and your kids to stay. So anyway, y'all, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about the situation with this female getting evicted. Before I leave, shut it down. Don't forget, I am still selling tumblers, so make sure if y'all interested in tumblers, you hit me up. I am still selling my hair oil, only $10 a bottle. 18 herbs for those who are struggling with hair follicle issues. I also got beard oil for men with beards. Okay, so if you're having a hard time with razor bumps and your beard is dry all the time, but you don't want a product that's too oily and greasy, I got you. I got my Swag Central beard oil. Last but not least, I'm selling cable. Those y'all paying for all these damn apps. Y'all paying for Stars apps. Y'all paying for BET apps. Y'all paying all these bunch of goddamn apps when you can be getting my app that has over 9,000 channels. Only $25 a month. You just need a Fire Stick. If you don't have a Fire Stick, I can purchase one for you, and you just have to compensate me for the Fire Stick and me activating the Fire Stick. But if you already have a Fire Stick and you interested in my cable, email me cafedayparis79@yahoo.com. Let me know you have a Fire Stick, you interested in my cable app. I will send you the installation instructions. Once you pay me, Cash App me, or Zelle me the $25 fee, if you like it, we can continue to keep doing business, and you could Cash App me $25 a month. If you're not interested after that, then that's fine as well. But anyway, y'all, I'm just trying to save y'all some money. And, you know, I got all kind of business ventures going. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to shut it down. It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge. Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. I'm always going to serve you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Be blessed, and y'all take care. Bye.